Hello, and welcome to the Charlotte Real Estate Made Simple podcast, where we demystify the real estate process in the Charlotte and surrounding areas. We are Highland Real Estate, and I am the broker in charge and one of the owners, Cory Warren.
And I'm the marketing director and another owner, and I'm Sid Warren. So today we're going to talk about what makes Charlotte special. It's an amazing city, and I think we can both attest that it's really grown a lot, especially recently. We're going to start out with some fun facts here. In the 1700s, there were two vital pathways located around where Charlotte is right now. One was the Great Wagon Road. It was built by European settlers, and it once stretched from Philadelphia to Georgia. So its existence set the stage for a mass southward migration of colonists.
Now, what Georgia city would that be? Atlanta, or you're not sure?
Probably Atlanta.
You'd think so. That makes sense, right?
Yeah. So this road, the Great Wagon Road, bisects a large Native American trail, and where those two intersect is now known as Independence Square, right down or uptown Charlotte, and each of those roads represents Tryon and Trade Street. So it's just an interesting little fact there. Right
in the center of Charlotte. We were there with some dear friends Saturday. They invited us to the theater, and we saw Dear Evan Hansen. That's the name of it, right? And it's supposed to be the rage of Broadway, I guess, last year or this year. It was very interesting. We enjoyed it. We had dinner at a place we'd never eaten before that served tapas. Is that how you say that?
Yep.
Yeah. Just small portions of very incredible food, and that was just a block from the Blumenthal Theater, which is right uptown in the area that Sid's talking about. So,
and what's interesting about that is you just use the term uptown, and in most cities, what Charlotte's uptown would be considered downtown. But in Charlotte, it's called uptown, and it's just kind of one of those things that a city has that just sticks. And some people, hypothesize that it's because Charlotte is like kind of elevated a little bit, but there's not really a set reason why. It's just become a cultural thing for the Charlotte area.
We'd have to look into that sometime, because it reminds me of an old Billy Joel song called Uptown Girl. And wasn't he a downtown guy? Is that how the song went?
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, that's cool. So we're gonna jump right into it. One of the things that makes Charlotte really special is the job market. Right now, there's just so much opportunity here, and a lot of people are actually moving to Charlotte because of the opportunity. Some of that opportunity stems from the fact that Charlotte is the number 2 banking capital in the world, behind New York City, in the country, which that's a pretty big.
That says a lot.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Because of that, Bank of America is headquartered here, and Wells Fargo has their East Coast headquarters here.
And if I'm not mistaken, isn't that the number 1 and 2 bank in the country as far as size?
Well, without doing some research, I know, they're definitely very respected companies in their field. And that's not, really all of the opportunity. It's not just all banking. I mean, this is a technological hub. It has everything a big city wants, and it has more, and it's growing so fast. And a way that we can kind of quantify that is the average age in the Charlotte area right now is 34. This is very much a millennial city, meaning that it's young, it's growing, it's not reached its peak. It's very much, at the beginning. And all these, who are millennials now are going to be the executives tomorrow. And I think the city really has a bright future, and it really has a bright job market. And
it feels that way. I mean, there's just an excitement in Charlotte. I've lived all over the country, and I've been in steel industrial towns, and I've been in other areas where it feels like they've sort of peaked and are on their downward slide. But it seems like Charlotte is just heading straight upward.
Exactly. Yeah. So, want to go ahead next?
Oh, sure. Okay. Some of the other interesting things about Charlotte. One, we had mentioned the theater. There's a great theaters in Charlotte, numerous. We were at the Belk Theater.
And they're now Broadway has included Charlotte as part of their tour. So they're stopping by Charlotte now, which is nice.
We've got very prominent theater. We've got great restaurants, which actually aren't on our list. The other thing we did this weekend is we went to our local amusement park, which is called Carowinds, which is half in North Carolina, half in South Carolina, because Charlotte is very close to the border of South Carolina. So we consider ourselves sort of the Carolinas here, both North and South Carolina. Had a great time. We rode the brand new roller coaster, the Copperhead Strike, and Sid and I did with my wife Jody and his fiancee Erica and my daughter Avalon, and it was very, very thrilling. And the food there is great too. So that is another great draw of Charlotte. But we've got NASCAR. You've got the 150,000 square foot Hall of Fame. And many people consider the Charlotte Motor Speedway to be the greatest place on earth to see a NASCAR race. It is one of the epicenters of NASCAR. We've got the Coca-Cola 600, the Bank of America 500, NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race, and then something I did a few years back, they've got a drag strip down there that has 4 lanes. So you can race 4 cars at the same time, which is very thrilling. And those cars are so powerful. We've got the Carolina Panthers football team, which was in the Super Bowl last year. Unfortunately, they didn't win, but they made it to that number 2 spot and did a great job. That was last year, wasn't it?
Yes, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay. It wasn't, it seems like every year it's New England, but we were up there last year, which was great. We've got the Charlotte Hornets, which, a little bit of trivia here, in 1780, British General Charles Cornwallis marched his men through the city where they encountered firm resistance. He'd go on to call Charlotte a hornet's nest of rebellion. Good for us.
Yeah.
And the movie Patriot that Mel Gibson made, it was shot in here in the Charlotte area. There was a significant battle in Kings Mountain, which is part of the Charlotte area, which is a little bit west of us, and Cowpens, and of course everything ended up down in Charleston, South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. We've got the U.S. National Whitewater Center, which is the biggest man-made whitewater river in the country. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
And on St. Patrick's Day, which was last weekend, they turned the river green, sort of like they do in Chicago, which was sort of neat. We were in line to go there and see that. We went to the big parade and festival in Charlotte, downtown, uptown, which was awesome. And then afterwards, we were going to go see them turn the river green, and the line to get in was a little bit too long this year, so we didn't actually make it. We'll have to go a little earlier next year to take advantage of that. We've got the Tryon Equestrian Park, which I don't want to misquote this, but I was told they're going to end up spending $1 billion there. I think they've already spent upwards of half of that, and it's a phenomenal equestrian facility, which is west of Charlotte on the way towards Asheville, which is another amazing city here in the Carolinas. But that's something to behold for people that love horses and equestrian sports. And we do have a lot of influx of money into this economy. You can just feel it brimming with excitement and opportunity here in Charlotte.
Yeah, and I mean, the sports are what's really driving a lot of the economy. I mean, I don't want to attribute all of Charlotte to the sports and that kind of thing, but when you have something in a city like that, you have major sports, they really drive a lot of money into the economy and strengthen it. And that's something that Charlotte's really got going for it, having the Panther Stadium there. It just really, after that stadium got built, everything around it blossomed.
It certainly did, because last year, it was actually the year before last, we actually had offices in a building in uptown Charlotte, and we had a beautiful view of Panther Stadium. And fortunately, we didn't stay in that facility. As nice as it was, we're here in South Charlotte. But our incredible view of Panther Stadium is now would be completely obscured.
Yeah, they've got another high-rise right there next to it, which is great for the economy. There's so much happening in Charlotte. If you drive down the Strip, you can see,
cranes everywhere.
Yeah, there's something going on at every corner.
Yeah, so Charlotte is growing. It's a fast-growing city. The quality of life, Charlotte's ranked 22 in both on the list of best places to live and best places to retire. And Charlotte's good score was due to the availability of jobs, overall value, amenities, and safety of the community. I've been in, again, a lot of cities in the country. When I lived in San Francisco, I was part of the Guardian Angels, which would go to places of high crime and try to protect people. And things like that. And we go to Charlotte in the evening a lot, and I've never felt threatened. I mean, it's just one of the safest cities I've ever been in.
Yeah.
And that's very comforting, and I think it's due to the people that live here. I mean, there's just such a peacefulness in the Carolinas and a respect, and, we are in the Bible Belt, so a lot of people have strong beliefs which we respect, and that carries out into society as well. So it always does feel very safe.
I like, too, that it's not just ranked 22nd the best place to live, but also to retire. And that kind of shows that, Charlotte's really got a lot to meet almost anybody's needs, whether you're, a new family or, a couple ready to retire or a single person on your own. It has everything you need in terms of, programs and amenities and even the geography. It's just really just clean, and I don't know.
Well, bragging on the state, I mean, one of the things I love the best is we're here in a progressive city, so you've got all the things that you like as far as hospitals, for needs, and great restaurants. You've got sporting events, you've got theater, you've got parks, beautiful things like that, and very progressive things like that. But also, you head a little bit to the east, and you've got some of the best beaches in the country. And you head to the west, and you've got the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and you've got the Blue Ridge Mountains and the Smoky Mountains, and it's just incredible natural, rustic beauty. So it's like we've got the best of all worlds right here.
Yeah.
So to carry on with the quality of life here, we have excellent public schools, highly respected, and that goes through university as well. I know, Sid, you just graduated from the University of North Carolina at Charlotte, and I think you had a great education, a great experience there, did you not?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got Wake Forest, we've got Duke, we've got University of North Carolina, an excellent community college system. We've got some really, real neat neighborhoods, which we're going to cover in future episodes. We may even introduce video so we can sort of take you on a tour of the different neighborhoods and districts within Charlotte. We've got trendy Noda, which is quiet. In Charlotte, there's a lot of quiet neighborhoods with around Lake Norman or within a reasonable commute to the uptown area. Whether you like water, whether you like more rural areas, Charlotte is very accessible. Or if you want to be right uptown, there's a lot of neat areas for people to settle in.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can jump right into the real estate market, too. That's kind of our area of expertise more so than, we are experts on the area because we live here, but real estate's our business. So we got some quick statistics here. According to Zillow, Charlotte is the fourth hottest housing market in 2018. And with the way things are looking for 2019, I honestly could see that creeping up even higher. Since 2012, the median value for a home has increased by 60%, and that's ridiculous.
I think that's awesome. It's a great investment opportunity, and if that continues with an investment, a property that's purchased today in the next 4 or 5 years, 6 years, what's going to happen with that?
Yeah, and it's not showing any signs of slowing down. Things close literally next day sometimes. And areas like Noda, this 60% number is a joke. It's more like 300% or something like that.
Yeah, we've seen areas develop from nothingness, and we've seen other areas turn around, and the values have just skyrocketed. The median home value at $235 is incredible because we get a lot of people from New England, from the Northeast, or from California, from different parts of Florida that come here to Charlotte, and they're just amazed at the amount of house that they can purchase for the money.
Yeah.
Where you might get just a tiny bungalow in a California area or up in New York or in New England, you can get a beautiful house here for the same price that they would have to pay for that, and have a little bit of land to go with that. So there's a lot of opportunities. Of course, the further you get out of Charlotte, it gets a little bit more rural, and if you want an estate for horses or just to stretch out and enjoy, that's available as well at very, very reasonable prices.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think if people understood how much you could get for Charlotte, that would really surprise them. And I think that's the reason Charlotte's growing so much is because of the value. People are realizing, a lot of the things we've talked about today and a lot of the things we haven't talked about that really make Charlotte special. and then they look at the price point, and I'm like, we could afford this. We could move here and be even better off, have more space, have a bigger yard, and be in a really progressive city that has so much opportunity, and also just the range of offering to, you've got everything from like literally a mansion on a lake or on a hill, and then you've got a small bungalow, and you have everything in between, and there's really something for everybody. So it's not like Charlotte is, you have to live 30 miles from Charlotte or you can't afford it. Like you can make something happen within your budget.
Well, for our ranges, I mean, we've literally sold a house for $6,000 before that a gentleman moved right into from out of state, and then.
Well, that wasn't necessarily in Charlotte. I don't
was,
want people to think that they can do that downtown or anything.
That was further in the suburbs, and then we sold a property last year for $1.4 million, which, properties in Charlotte can go up into the millions of dollars for exquisite mansions and estates, and the whole way down. And again, I don't want to paint an inaccurate picture. You can't come to Charlotte and move in uptown and get a $6,000 house. That was very extreme, and the house really needs a little bit of work. But we have seen some decent houses for under $100,000. Really,
yeah, absolutely.
Ranches, 3-bedroom, 1 to 2 bath, and people are very, very happy in them. Half acre of land. I mean, it's remarkable. But that median price range, you get a lot of house for $235,000, and you're in a very good area.
Yeah. So the real estate market is just another thing that really just has firmed Charlotte up, and it's a safe place to move. The equity you buy into is going to be there, and it's going to appreciate. It's a safe place to be, and it's comfortable, and that's just another aspect that makes Charlotte special. With that said, there's so many. We could talk about this forever, but basically our podcast is about Charlotte, so we're going to be touching on even more things as we continue. We just kind of wanted to hit the highlights, some of the more obvious things that kind of sum it up and just talk about Charlotte as a whole, but we're not really diving into the details today. But as always, if you have suggestions for future episodes, leave them in the comments, or you can visit us at highlandrealestate.us/podcast, where there's an option for you to go ahead and click and leave us a comment or give an idea for a future episode that you'd like to learn more about. And if, as a real estate firm, if you or anyone needs real estate advice, give us a call. My number is 704-819-2361, or you can go to highlandrealestate.us/contact. Contact us there. And do you want to give your number?
Sure. You can reach me directly on my cell phone, which I keep with me all the time, 704-477-5423. So thank you for listening to this week's episode of Charlotte Real Estate Made Simple. If you or anyone you know needs any advice in regard to real estate, again, please call us at the numbers that we've mentioned, or go to our website, and all of our contact information will be there. I hope you join us next Monday as we continue to demystify the real estate process in the Charlotte area. And we hope you have a great week.
Thanks for listening.